We're here today, we're going to be looking at some side control escape. So we're going to do two videos of this. First one's going to be some basic shrimping, hip bridging. The second one's going to be a little bit different, and we're going to be looking at changing the angles and going in a different direction. So I hope you enjoy these. Okay, so we're going to be looking at escaping from the side control. This can be a really horrible position for a lot of people, almost sometimes worse than the mount or the back, because of the way that they're pressuring you down, and you can never really, you try all these things and you can never really get anything going. So we're going to look at a couple of options with the bridging aspect of it. So the first thing we need to make sure we do is, if the arms are out on this occasion, then we want to make sure that we bring the arm inside here. So I always think of it as like, you try to bring your elbow, the sharpest point of your elbow, in towards the hip, so you don't leave it out there. If you can't, just pull it in there, wiggle it in, and it's like a little wedge it in there. Make sure we do not put our hand on the hip, because we can really damage our wrist if they flop their bum to the floor here. So I want to keep the frame, so when it hits about the joint of my wrist, I want like a floppy hand, and actually I'm like chopping with my forearm. This hand's sometimes a little bit problematic, because I don't want to just bring my arm across, because obviously my partner can now catch it, and then he can start bringing his elbow over, and I've essentially been caught in Americana. So it's not just a case of just bringing it over and in. You might get away with it, but I don't want to give my partner the opportunity to attack this. So what I like to do if this arm is out is make sure that everything's tight. So you see how this arm stays in tight? I want to do like a baby bridge, just a little kind of turn my hip first. A lot of people, when they begin, they do this big umper bridge, and as they're sort of mid-air bridging, they tend to hurt their backs. So I've adapted my bridge a little bit, so now I'll just shift my hips ever so slightly, and now just plant my feet, bridge, try and put my nose, so bridging off my neck almost. And then you can see here how now it's easy to bring the arm inside, keeping it close to my body, not really in any danger of a Kimura as such, so I'm not bringing it over the top. Bridge, come in, and I'm fully expecting my partner to load the weight back down, and the arm's in here. More than likely, they're going to put the weight back down. You're not going to probably continue with that. If you can catch this arm inside early, preempt the side control, even better. My elbow, can you wait up slightly? The elbow doesn't want to be out here. I want to make sure that the elbow is tight to my ribs. And my partner might be able to get a little bit under the elbow, but I don't want to leave that opportunity for them to start elevating it, maybe putting me to an arm triangle. So you can see how my elbows are really tight to my ribs now. So if my partner just takes the weight off me and sits up, you see how elbows tight. And I'm making this frame, okay? So from this position, a lot of times you find it very hard to get this bridge, and you might have done a little bit of a bridge to get the arm in, but the next phase of getting this big bridge is heavy, especially if my partner sprawls his hips out a little. It's like, I'm just bridging, I'm trying to shrimp, and every time I bridge and then I shrimp, his hips follow me. And it's like a losing battle. So we can keep the arm here for now, for sure. This isn't always my preference. I do like to try and get this arm on the inside and control the arm. That's my preference, but I know some people might not be able to get that on the inside. So if you can't get this on the inside, again, and maybe another bridge, and then bring the arm inside here. But if you're feeling it's quite tough to do that, you can still stay on the hip line. So a little tip you can work your side control escape is without using a pronounced bridge as such. So what we're going to do is we're just going to spin round and move so you can see what my left hip's doing here. So my partner here. So I want you to concentrate on what my left hip's doing right now, because if I'm close to my partner and I just bridge into him, I'm essentially bridging quite close. So now, to bring my bum really far back, it's going to be even more difficult, because I'm already so close to him. It's like a race. If I'm racing him and we start at the same time, it's fairly even. But if I have a head start, I should in theory win. So If I bring my hips back, he just follows me. So what we're going to do in this scenario is notice how he's doing the right thing by using his right elbow to almost like close off my hip. By having that post here, it's very hard for me just, he's controlling that hip line. So what I want to do, I want to take my feet, I just want to walk my toe out, and I want to step my leg. Now, I want to do what we call a forward shrimp. So I bring my hip under his elbow in an aggressive turn in towards him. Can you see? Can you see how I've separated his elbow? See how I've separated the elbow and created this space here. So once again, we come back. The arm comes on the inside. Maybe I've had the baby bridge or I've just in here. This is come through. Watch my left hip. I walk my feet out or I step. Little baby feet, whichever's best for you. And I'm going to do a big hip smash into his arm. 1, 2. Now, can you all see this gap here in where his hip is? This is going to give me the opportunity now to take my right knee and put it straight into that gap. So I've almost eliminated that big, really explosive bridge, which is sometimes very difficult to do. And I've just been very sneaky and got this in. Now if I just extend my leg, can you see how it starts to take the pressure off? I'm not going to necessarily use this to control him, but it takes that pressure off. Now, if I haven't done already, I push and I bring this arm. Spin around again, please. I push and I bring this arm, and now this is my favorite, controlling the arm. The knee can come all the way across the body, and whilst I'm not out the water at all, I'm still in deep water, he can still start to, I'm not fully got a guard going, but what I can do is now I've got that separation and that space. I can shrimp out, foot on his hip, bring this through, bring weight up please. Foot comes on the hip, I can start to attack. I can get maybe an open guard. In some cases, if our legs are across here and I push out, I can bring over and start attacking for an arm lock. So, but the key point for me is to create this kind of space here to put my knee in. So once again, we'll break this down. Elbow comes on the inside. Here, if you want to grab, it's not a problem, or you can just keep it tight, just so they can't Kimura or Americana. I want you to bring your hips out, never change the angle, bridge. It's not going to be enough to maybe send them over. If you're really strong, you might be able to, but it's just enough to bring this on the inside. If my partner now puts the weight back down again, I've got some breathing room. Again, spin the angle, so we're switching angles completely. So, managed to get on the inside. This time this hip is being blocked, so I want to baby steps, get some foot movement out, and I'm going to use this hip. See what I do? I do a forward shrimp, so should be practicing this at home or wherever you do your forward shrimps or in your class. Step your foot down and forward shrimp 1, regular shrimp 2, slide the knee in that gap, extend your knee, come in front of the bicep. Again, if my partner wants to maybe pop to his feet, then he can come in. If he wants to maybe reach for my head or something, maybe it's an option to attack. Some cases, you get stuck here, I shrimp out. This foot can then come in as a butterfly hook, a little bit more advanced. But same thing, if he wants to put the weight into me, I can extend that leg away. And again, create that distance. So, the bridge shrimp combination, very popular. What we've essentially done there is we've used our hips to actually break away and create that space with that forward shrimp motion. We can still use the big bridge in conjunction with that, but there are those occasions when you're finding it very difficult to actually break and get out of that. So by using those hips, shrimping, forward shrimping, creating that space, we give ourselves an opening. And don't forget, if you're finding the space isn't always there, for whatever reason, maybe your partner's moving in faster, absolutely, you can use the bridge to create a bit more space. What we've just gone over there is just some little details of how you can sneak the knee in and start getting a framework in place to stop your partner from crushing you down. So, hope that's added some value to your game. Try it. If you're having big opponents and you can't get any bridge going and you're pulling your back out every time you do it, it's a nice little sneaky option there to start to bring the knee in, get your framework going, get your open guard, your closed guard, your half guard, get back into the game.